This is the Hall Effect controller, the Anti-Stickdrift controller, the Pro controller for a regular controller price from the Anti-Stickdrift experts themselves, GameSir. I'm literally just quoting what they said. It's right there on the box. It says the Anti-Stickdrift experts. So hey, not my words, it's theirs. Is a GameSir controller really what they make it out to be, or is it just another cheaply manufactured controller with a bunch of technical mumbo jumbo to make it sound like a good product? Well, that's what I'm going to be testing out today. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the GameSIr G7 Pro, and it is GameSir's flagship mainline controller, the Pro controller. So in order to keep things fair and objective, I've actually been using GameSir's cheaper model. This is the $20 controller. This is the T3 Lite for the last like 2 months or so. It hasn't really given me any problems. The build quality isn't the greatest, but I mean, it's 20 bucks and it's a good controller for a 20 bucks price point. So I decided now it's time to actually test this one out to see if their mainline controller really lives up to, you know, the Pro name that they gave it. I'm gonna be unboxing the G7 Pro and I'm gonna be testing it out and rating it in 3 different categories. The anti-stick drift claim, because apparently it has 0 stick drift. The Pro controller claim, I'm gonna be looking at the overall build quality of the controller and the features that it has for it to even be considered a Pro controller. And of course, last but not least, the overall price of the controller itself. At the end of the day, you can have a really good product, but if the price doesn't really match up for what you're getting, it's not really worth it and it's kind of pointless. So those are the 3 categories I'm going to be rating and judging this on. So let's go ahead and get right into the video. So the first thing we're going to be talking about is the anti-stick drift claim. GameSir's biggest selling point is the fact that this controller is supposedly supposed to have 0 stick drift. And in case you don't know what it is, stick drift is pretty much when your controller starts to send analog signals through the thumbsticks directly into the game, causing you to have involuntary aim or involuntary movement while the sticks aren't even moving in real life. And this is usually caused by, you know, the usual wear and tear over time of the thumbsticks, or sometimes in some cases dust kind of just gets underneath the thumbsticks and that causes stick drift as well. So the apparent solution to this is that instead of using regular analog sticks, which use potentiometers, which are variable resistors, GameSir controllers use Hall Effect thumbsticks, which use magnetic sensors instead. So it's less likely to get stick drift since there's no mechanical potentiometer that could easily degrade and get damaged over time. So that's why they call it the quote-unquote anti-stick drift controller. So scientifically speaking, I guess it works, it makes sense. But it's mathematically impossible to have absolutely 0 stick drift. The technology in the controller is proven to be less likely to get stick drift over time. So even though it's not 100%, I guess being, you know, 90% stick drift proof is better than most other controllers, which will break down easily. So I guess we'll give them a pass on that one. So next is the Pro controller claim. In order for a controller to be considered a Pro controller, we have to look at the features. And it's important to note that this controller, the G7 Pro, is compatible for PC gaming and Xbox consoles, including the Series X and the Series S. And Android devices as well, but there's no mention of PlayStation or Nintendo or anything like that on the packaging, so don't expect it to work on those platforms. And when it comes to the features that the controller comes with, the G7 Pro features a tri-mode connection, which allows the controller to connect via Bluetooth or a wired connection, or even over Wi-Fi as well. It also features trigger-specific haptics, a micro switch and Hall Effect trigger stops, remappable bumpers, textured grips, detachable faceplate for customization if you care about that. I don't know, I don't really care about that, but if you do, then you know, great. It also features lockable and mappable back buttons, and it comes with a charging dock, interchangeable D-pads, and every box comes with 1 month of Xbox Game Pass Ultimate. So when it comes to all the features that I just listed off, it would be pretty hard for me to say that it's not a Pro controller. Most of the other Pro controllers that you see on the market, including the official Xbox Pro controller and even the PlayStation DualSense Edge controller, have some of these same features, if not even less than what this controller has. So it's pretty safe to say this can be considered a Pro controller and not just any regular controller that comes with the typical things that a controller comes with. And last but definitely not least is the overall price for this Pro Controller package. The official Xbox Pro Controller at MSRP is around $180, and the PlayStation DualSense Edge Pro Controller itself is around $200. So after everything I just listed about the GameSIr G7 Pro, you would expect it to be around, the same price as those other competitor Pro controllers as well, but it's actually only $80. And if you didn't already know, the regular DualSense controllers for the PS5, which I have 2 of them, each of them are about the same price as one of these GameSIr G7 Pro controllers. And the regular Xbox controller for the Series S and the Series X literally comes around to be $70. So without any of these pro features, without any of these pro quote-unquote pro controller features like the back buttons and the remappable stuff and the interchangeable D-pad and the the zero stick drift thumbstick, Hall effect thumbsticks, it's pretty safe to say that this is worth the money. So in conclusion, it's very difficult for me to say that this is a scam or it's just something that I'm not gonna recommend, and especially for someone like myself, which admittedly I am pretty biased against Xbox style controllers. I mean, I have 2 DualSense controllers for the PS5 and I even have a DualShock 4 controller. I find it very hard to say that this is a scam or this is something that I wouldn't recommend. And I'm very biased for PlayStation styled controllers. That's kind of what I just grew up on. That's what I've been playing on for almost 15 plus years now. So there you have it. The GameSIr G7 Pro is actually a good, well-built controller. Usually anything coming out from China, I always assume is very cheaply built, low quality and very plasticky, but they actually proved me wrong on this one. This is actually a very well-built controller that is a pro controller and for the price of a regular controller. So if you feel like picking one up, there is a link in the description to do so. It's only $80. And then if you feel like getting the cheaper alternative, which is the $20 version, which it's not as great, but it works perfectly fine and it works on PC and Xbox, you can get that one too. It's $20, link in the description. That's pretty much it from me. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, remember to give it a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I got nothing else to say about the G7 Pro. It's great. And I'm just yapping at this point, so I'm just gonna go ahead and go. All right, bye.